Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel at Future Way Next to World included my favorite destination Canada. Today we're going to talk about thousands are leaving Canada, reason to mass immigration problems IRCC 2024 to 2025. We're going to talk why are people leaving Canada. You know, it's always seen as this land of opportunity right today. What's the deal? Canada has this image of, prosperity, welcoming arms, but then what's pushing people away? What's the reality behind that image, right? Exactly. So that's kind of what we're here to figure out, uncover those factors that are driving people away, and also what does it mean for Canada's future? Maybe this will even make you think about your own dream and how it all fits. Demographic shift happening in Canada. It highlights how Prime Minister Trudeau's policies have led to this big increase in immigration, especially from Asia, India and Pakistan. But it's not just about the people, is impacting those who are already here. Both people born in Canada and those who immigrated earlier. This whole idea of wage suppression, that's a crucial point, is bigger pool of skilled workers coming in. Companies are able to offer lower wages, which obviously impacts everyone in the workforce, right? So does that then affect the Canadian dream for those who are coming here for a better life? If you can't make a decent living, exactly. And speaking of attainable, can we talk about this housing crisis? The video shows this insane Vancouver listing: 6 beds crammed into one room separated by dividers for $325 a month. I know it's crazy, that's wild. What's interesting though is how it ties directly back to the influx of immigrants we were just talking about. It's basic supply and demand, more people needing housing. Over 2 million Canadians relying on food banks in a single month. The cost of living is going through the roof, but wages aren't keeping up. Think about it, people working full-time jobs struggling to even put food on the table. What does that say about the promise of a good life in Canada? A healthcare worker, she's been in the field for over 25 years, yet she's living in a van because she can't afford rent. What's the point of working so hard if you can't even afford a roof over your head? It's a tough situation for sure, and this whole van life thing where people are choosing or being forced to live in vans, it's like a symptom of this much larger societal. Is it a warning sign that our traditional support systems are failing? Top of all of this, there's the issue of Canada's aging population. Aging population, it puts this immense strain on social systems and government budgets. It raises some, with people starting businesses to help others relocate back home, proposing to decrease immigration levels to try to ease some of the pressure on housing and the job market. But there's also the skepticism about whether that'll really address the deeper problems. It's a tough spot for the government. They want to attract skilled workers and maintain a growing population, but they also need to respond to the concerns of those who are already here and who are feeling the negative impacts of rapid immigration. It's a delicate balance, and any solution has the potential for unintended consequences, right? Speaking of consequences, let's bring in that news report about the immigration study. It found that 17.5% of immigrants who came to Canada between 1980 and 2000 left within 20 years, and the rate of immigration has been steadily increasing since the 1980s. Brilliant. Makes you wonder if Canada is losing its appeal. It does. This study is definitely a key piece of game. Immigrants going, what are their reasons for leaving? Is it purely economics? We've uncovered some pretty serious challenges that Canada's facing: a struggling economy, a housing crisis, strain on the social safety net, and a growing number of people, both those born here and immigrants, who are feeling disillusioned. And it seems like the government's having a hard time finding solutions that truly address these issues. But wait, there's more. What's really striking? We think about developed countries, we often see places like Canada as immune to these sorts of problems, right? But clearly these problems aren't unique to Canada. We're seeing similar things in other developed countries: rising inequality, housing affordability crisis, increasing political polarization. Seems like a global thing. Why it's so crucial to understand it's not just about Canada, it's about recognizing the broader challenges that are facing the world today. Look at the bigger picture. What does this trend of people leaving Canada, this gap between perception and reality, tell us about the global landscape? Is the world changing? I think it highlights a shift in how we view opportunity. For decades, the narrative was that developed countries like Canada offer the best path to a good life: stability, economic prosperity, strong social safety nets. But now those systems are strained. The cost of living keeps rising. That narrative is being challenged, right? It's almost like we're seeing a leveling of the playing field, but not in a good way. Instead of everyone rising to a higher standard of living, it feels like the developed world is experiencing a downward pressure. That's a very sharp observation, and it leads to a crucial question: what will replace that old narrative of opportunity? Where will people go to find a fulfilling life in the coming decades? Will be emerging economies, alternative lifestyles, or something we haven't even thought of yet. It's kind of exciting and unsettling at the same time. You know, it's great to see more parts of the world developing and offering new opportunities, but it's also concerning to see those places we once thought of as beacons of stability and prosperity facing such big challenges it is. And that's exactly why these conversations are so important. We need to be open and honest about these trends, recognize how complex they are, and work together to find solutions that address the root causes, not just the symptoms, right? It's not about blaming anyone, but about understanding the forces at play and working together to create a more equitable and sustainable future for everyone, no matter where they choose to live. Couldn't agree more. And this is where you, the listener, come, and you have the power to stay informed, to participate in these discussions. For sure, we need to take a more holistic approach to immigration policy. It's not just about numbers, it's about making sure that newcomers have the support they need to successfully integrate and contribute to the economy. So things like language training, job placement services, affordable housing options, things that would help them get on their feet and really thrive. Exactly. And we also need to tackle the root causes of these challenges. You know, things like income inequality, the crazy housing market, and the strain on public services. These are systemic issues that need long-term solutions. One thing that really stood out to me in that video was the sense of frustration among Canadians, like they feel like their voices aren't being heard, like the government isn't doing enough to fix these problems yet. That feeling of disconnect is dangerous. It can lead to apathy and cynicism, people just giving up. You know, people need to feel like they have a stake in the future, like their concerns matter. So how do we bridge that gap? How do we empower people to feel like they can actually shape the future of their country? It starts with open and honest dialogue, like the conversation we're having right now. You know, creating spaces where people can share their experiences, voice their concerns, and work together to find solutions. So it's not about just complaining about the problems, it's about being proactive, about finding solutions, right? And there's so many ways to get involved. Could be advocating for policy changes, volunteering in your community, supporting local businesses, or even just talking to your friends and family about these issues. Every action, no matter how small, can make a difference. I love that we're taking in and forming our own opinions. Exactly. Once you've done that, start sharing what you've learned, talk to your friends and family, get into those healthy debates online, use your voice to get people thinking. That makes sense, but sometimes it feels like people just talk in circles, you know, rehashing the same arguments over and over without actually getting anywhere. How do we move beyond just talking and start actually doing something? There are tons of ways to take action, and it doesn't have to be some big grand gesture. It could be as simple as supporting local businesses, volunteering in your community, or donating to organizations that are fighting for things you believe in. So it's about finding what resonates with you and doing something that feels right for you. Absolutely. And get creative. You know, there are so many ways to make a difference. Organize a community event, start a petition, write to your elected officials, or even just use your wallet to support businesses that are doing good in the world. It's about realizing we all have a role to play, and every little bit counts, right? And as you get more involved, you might find yourself connecting with other people who are passionate about the same things, and that's when things can really start to change. Collective action is powerful. Like they say, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Exactly. And I think that's a great takeaway from this whole conversation, this journey to a better Canada, a better world. It's something we have to do together. We all have to play our part, and by working together we can create the kind of future we want to see. So to everyone listening, we challenge you to take that first step, stay informed, talk to each other, and find ways to take action in a way that feels right for you. Remember, every seed you plant has the potential to grow into something amazing, and don't ever underestimate your own ability to make a difference. The future is in our hands. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope it's given you some food for thought and inspired you to make a difference. And until next time, keep exploring, keep asking those tough questions, and keep pushing for a better world. That is all for today in this video. What are your thoughts on this? Please let us know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching the entire video, and take care.